welcome to another edition of Kennedy Connections. I'm joined today by my fellow co-hosts,
Jesus Gutierrez,
Amy LaJoy,
Alan Walker,
and Amy Cantrell. Hi, I'm Katherine Choi, and welcome to Kennedy Connections. Today I'm joined with my fellow co-hosts,
Alan Walker,
Amy LaJoy,
Jesus Gutierrez,
and Amy Cantrell. Hi, I'm Katherine Choi, and welcome to Kennedy Connections. I'm joined today with my fellow co-hosts, Amy Cantrell, Amy LaJoy. First, our story, we're going to go to Amy LaJoy with a story on the Junior Overnighter. Hello and welcome to Kennedy Connections. I'm Katherine Choi, and today we'll be focusing on what's new here at Kennedy. I'm joined today by my fellow co-hosts, Amy LaJoy,
Jesus Gutierrez, Alan Walker,
and Amy Cantrell. Amy Cantrell, Amy LaJoy,
and Alan Walker.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Kennedy Connections. My name is Katherine Choi, and I'm joined with my fellow co-hosts, Amy Cantrell, Amy LaJoy,
Alan Walker, Jesus Gutierrez.
Hi, thanks for joining us for another week of Kennedy Connections. My name is Amy LaJoy, and I'm joined here with my fellow co-hosts,
Katherine Choi,
Jesus Gutierrez, Alan Walker,
and Amy Cantrell.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Kennedy Connections. I'm Katherine Choi, and I'm joined today by my fellow co-hosts,
Jesus Gutierrez,
Amy LaJoy,
Alan Walker.
and Amy Cantrell.
Now we have a story with Jacob Atanasio interviewing teachers and students about the new block schedule. Here at Kennedy, Halloween was really interesting. That was not scary, but let's show you something that is. With the senior votes in, here's the reactions of the students and the categories they were placed under. Now here's some stories on Spirit Week. And now here's Katherine Choi with her interview with Jesus Gutierrez on our continuing journey with getting to know our host. The recent events in America have touched us and united us all. Here's how students at Kennedy High feel.
Doesn't seem to be much going on with the freshmen, so here's Amy with our next story.
Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome, Amy.
All right, Amy. Our next story is Lonnie Johnson with his view of Kennedy called The Twisted Tour of Kennedy High. For our next story is a preview of Spirit Week. Moving into this episode of Kennedy Connections. Stay tuned for more interesting stories.
sports updates,
And in-depth interviews.
Bye! That's all for this edition of Kennedy Connections. Join us next time for
Interesting stories.
In-depth interviews.
Sports updates. That's it for now. Bye. Adios.
Well, that's all for this edition of Kennedy Connections. Join us next time for
In-depth interviews.
Interesting stories.
Sports updates.
And stay tuned for a special tribute to Coach Pete Michaelitos from all the senior football players.
Thank you for watching. That's all for this edition of Kennedy Connections. Join us next time for
In-depth interviews.
Interesting stories.
Exciting sports updates.
We hope to see you next week.
Bye! Well, that's all for this edition of Kennedy Connections. Join us next time for
Sports updates.
In-depth interviews.
Interesting stories.
And thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.